Okay, so let me talk about George Floyd. George Floyd was an African American guy. I don't know how old he was. He looked like he was in his 30s, but who knows? I know he is a black guy. He died a year ago. Apparently, it's a simple story. He went to a convenience store. He gave the clerk a fake $20 bill. A counterfeit bill that was fake. They called the police. The police came. He didn't actually. There was no fight. You know, black guys are seen in a negative way. They're seen as aggressive, angry, violent. Pretty much have a short temper. Testosterone levels are up. They get aggressive. But he was pretty much calm the whole time. He didn't run away. He didn't have an attitude. He didn't talk bad. He didn't sass talk the cop officers. They took him outside. They started to arrest him. They threw him on the ground. They got nervous. They see a black guy. He didn't do anything bad. And black people walking past they filmed it, the whole thing. And something happened. I guess they just didn't like the way he was acting. They were just kind of overreacting. So they put him on the ground. A white officer put his neck on the black guy's neck. He put his knee on the black guy's neck for about 20 minutes. George Floyd said, "I can't breathe. I can't breathe." The officer ignored him, and apparently he lost consciousness. And they called the ambulance. They put him in, and then he died in the hospital. He died a few hours later. This started a race war. People started rioting, acting crazy, and just kind of like the early 90s, Rodney King, where Rodney King got beat up by a couple white guys, and then people start getting into fights and going crazy over it. So this caused a controversy. This happened a year ago. Hard to believe. Justice has he had a life, and he had a wife and kids, and it's kind of sad. But as far as I know, the guy who put his knee on his neck was sent 10 years in prison. Better than nothing. But people like to dig up his past. They know George Floyd was a criminal. He did some pretty bad stuff in his past. But like I said, there are a lot of when people. It's always black guys. Every time a black guy does something bad, it seems like people like to dig up in their past and bring up their dirt, things that they did 20, 50, 20, 30 years ago. But it's sad. But whatever happens, happens. Mr. George Floyd, it's pretty sad what happened. It could have happened to anybody. So it's not like George Floyd was bad. He wasn't doing anything bad. It was just he did something bad. He wasn't innocent. But he didn't deserve to lose his life over something simple. Mr. J here, peace.